Look alive! Mono Matters Season 4, Episode Trey. Mono Matters Records, take that, take that. I'm your host, Jay Optiks.
The girl, Coach Kesh.
Coach Kesh, what's good, man? How your week been? First and foremost.
My week's been great. It was very informative, and I appreciate it because sometimes you got to take a step back to see a clear view.
Yeah, me and you have talked off camera, and you definitely took a step back, and you squared up, and you popped somebody in their jaw. But that's all good because I don't judge your violent nature because I know where you come from. I know where you're trying to go and shit like that. Sometimes you just gotta smack a motherfucker. So I get it.
Man, ain't nobody.
I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're good. You look fantastic.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
To all the people that's back listening to the podcast, welcome back, man. We hope y'all enjoyed the first 2 episodes of the season. We just getting started. If you're looking at us right now, this is our first time using the Riverside FM app. This is a way we can record our podcast and get some video out there, share some clips that we can react to, just have some more engagement. Keisha's a good-looking person. I'm a good-looking person, probably even a little bit better looking than her. And we just want to kind of, sell ourselves on all ways, not just audio. You know what I mean? Shut up. But yeah. So yeah, we hope y'all enjoy this new listening experience. So this will be up on YouTube, and man, it's going to be in for a wild ride. Another thing I want to mention, we hit 2 milestones today. One, I want to mention that I told you off air, this is my first time recording the show sober. I have absolutely nothing to drink. Inside this cup right here is lemon water. All right. I am going through withdrawals. I'm normally doing this show a little saucy.
So we doing it real opposite today because I got me a little mixer today and he want to be sober today. But then normally he want to talk about my tea or my juice I'm drinking.
And I got lemon water. I got lemon water. I'm not nervous though. My body's going through withdrawals. The fucking webbing in between my toes is sweating right now. I'm fucked up right now, son. But I'm gonna push through because I got my homie with me, so we should be good. Mental health check-in. What's your score, man? What's up?
I'm at a 10 today.
Oh,
I'm at a 10 today. Yes, I'm at it. You know why I'm at a 10 today? It was 74 degrees in Atlanta today. It was beautiful. We all know the pollen is out for anybody that live in GA. We deal with it. It's not the yellow storms. It ain't flooding yet, but it's out there.
You can't see it on the whip?
It's not humid. It's real comfortable.
Yo, a 10 is amazing, yo.
10 is great.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you got the fucking room and shit. You about to get turked in this motherfucker.
Don't do that.
I like it. I like it, yo. I ain't a 10, but I'm at like a 9.1 right now.
We gonna be on chill today. That's it. We rocking, we chilling, we cooling. Like we be cool.
Yeah, I'm at a 9.1, so I'm doing good too, man. Had a good week with my son. I was on vacation. I got another week off coming up, so there's a lot of family time at home. A lot of straightening the shit up, fixing with the car and shit like that. But life is good, man. I feel blessed. I've been getting some good sleep. You know what I mean? Catching up on some programs.
Daddy time. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wifey getting hubby time. That's a good thing.
I'm trying to be the greatest father of all time. Like I got to take over Uncle Phil's spot, but I mean that's just it's a work in progress.
I don't know if anybody compares to Uncle Phil. He raised a lot of us off the screen.
I know, right? Damn. Right. But anywho, glad you're doing well. We both doing well. Let's get into the show. So what we're gonna be talking about today? The other milestone I forgot to mention was this is actually episode 50. What a milestone that we hit.
Matters.
So many podcasts out there. A lot of people start, but they don't finish. It's a milestone. It's something to be celebrated that we got to 50 episodes. And we appreciate everybody that's listened since episode 1. Thank you. Appreciate you. But what we talking about today, man? Soft girl life. Soft life era.
Soft woman life.
Soft woman life, if you want to be technical out here. I don't know if you noticed, but Keisha's she a woman's woman, right? She don't be playing around. So
here we go.
We're going to be talking about the trend that went around on the internet, the soft girl era, quote unquote, or the soft life.
The soft life, right.
And how it's changed the dating game, how it's changed the relationship game, how it's changed women in general who's adopted this lifestyle. We're also going to discuss what it's like for women who have moved from a more masculine, more hard life that has transitioned into a softer life or more feminine life, a more lighter life, and see like what kind of changes that do. I think you are a perfect person to talk to about that because I've seen how you was, and I see how she is, and there's a big stark difference. Like you used to be the last motherfucker you would want to see walking dark at night, like in the alley. I don't want to see Keisha
Yeah.
coming down the alley with me. I'm walking the other way.
Listen.
Now things have changed. We're gonna talk about how that is.
Time comes maturity and growth. So we just gonna leave it at that.
And I think we both have big opinions on the man's role in a woman being able to be in her feminine energy. So we're going to talk about like what role the man should play in that.
Well, definitely. Because it comes from both sides of the spectrum. Especially you as being a husband and me as being a woman, and regardless of the male format of him being in his masculine and of course femininity, but us women tend to have to play both roles. And that's not talking about being a father to your children or anything like that. It's called holding things down when times get tough. And sometimes it's hard to reverse those roles if the trust isn't there in a certain relationship with your counterpart.
Right. So before we get into all that, of course, we got to talk about what's the most interesting thing that we saw this week. I mean, we really can't talk about much other than the obvious pink elephant that's in the room, right? Sean Diddy Combs got hit with a, yeah. You got you got the joke, right? Pink elephant, traffic mule, you know what I mean? So yeah, Sean Diddy Combs, somebody who I think if you are our age, you probably grew up on this man. Like he's been a music executive, music tycoon since, early mid 90s or something like that. But yeah, federal agents raided his properties in Miami
LA.
and Los Angeles.
Miami.
It was all wrapped up in the civil suits that he had going on, and they involved sexual assault, sexual trafficking, and other illegal activities. This shit is messy as all hell. I normally don't get into like hearsay or conjecture or like reading into rumors and shit like that. But like, if you smell fire, I mean, if you smell smoke and you see fire,
you're gonna run.
Bruh.
You getting up out of there. Like it's a mad dash. I'm sorry. Like you're not gonna sit around and wait to see what's gonna come up out of that.
Yeah, nah. So yeah, they raided old boy house. They went in there looking for evidence towards the investigation. I think the big thing for them was the whole sexual trafficking part. And they considering it as such that he was paying off women for sexual favors, whether or not it's for him or I guess quote unquote clientele. There's some big names as named in the lawsuit. But I mean, when you take a chick and you pay her money in New York or Detroit, and you say hop on this private jet or hop on this fucking tour bus and we about to go to fucking Wisconsin or Miami or some shit like that, you have officially taken that person across state lines. So that is what they call trafficking. I don't know if anybody knows that, but yeah, so he was doing that. But I wanted to run down the timeline with you right quick, Kesh, and just to put a frame on how messy this shit is. So the shit all started back in November 2023. That's when Cassie had filed her suit against Diddy.
Right.
She had some time to do it during the New York State Adult Survivors Act. They had like a 1-year window to get all this shit out before the statute of limitations was going to be ending. She said that she filed a lawsuit against him alleging that it was sexual and physical abuse during the course of their relationship. He was making her get high. He was making her perform sexual acts on other people, beating the shit out of her, and uncontrollable rage, quote unquote. And she had a fear for her life. And she said that this ranged from 2007 all the way until 2018. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Funny shit, bro. I had to go back into the Wayback Machine. Me and you both worked at the airport, right?
Right.
She came through the airport one time. She came through my terminal. And I saw her and I was obviously like, God damn. Bad. Skinny as all hell. but she was banging. So me being me, of course I had to go up and say like, something like, "What's good? How you doing? How's your day going? Da 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 da. We flying out too. Blah 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 blah." She looked up me. She looked up at me and was on some shit. Like I felt like I was looking at somebody that didn't have like a spirit about them. Like they was like
she a little lost,
dejected. Yeah, she like she was dejected. Like, yo, I'm not in a good place right now, or whatever. But I always remember that about her. And I thought for such a pretty girl, she never seemed like I never saw her too happy. You know what I mean? And it's like it always bothered me. So first we got that in November 2023. Fast forward to December 2023, a Jane Doe had came and said she was gang raped by Diddy when she was 17 in Detroit. He made her hop on a private jet to New York, and then they kept getting busy. They dropped off there, and they wound up sending her back, but they was making her perform different sex acts on different people, spiking her drinks and all this other shit like that. 2024 February, this was the big one that I'm pretty sure people recognize when this man Rodney Combs, aka Lil Rod, who was an in-house producer for P. Diddy, he said that the producer was sexually harassing him and pressure him into sexual acts, and also made him go out and get sex workers for parties and shit. These freak off parties and shit that Diddy was throwing. And I'm like, okay. But when he filed the suit, the names that was on there, like Prince Harry and fucking L.A. Reid and shit like that, it's like some heavy hitters and shit like that. So this wasn't a secret. Like people in Hollywood knew how Diddy was getting down. It was all rumor, but this shit sounds pretty fucking legit. And yeah, you
think
fast
Prince
forward.
Harry was really there? Not to cut you off, because I mean, the only reason why I'm asking is him and that's the one that's married to Meghan Markle, isn't it? And they had a baby and all that.
Was it? Yeah, it was. I think they was married. Yeah.
And I'm like, she left her show for her marriage. So him being on that list, I mean, I'm not saying it's unlikely. I'm just saying for them to part ways with the majesty back home and to be caught up in that, I don't know. I'm just saying, I ain't saying it to be facetious. I'm just saying, some people can over exaggerate some things, but you never know. I mean, he had a wild style out in Vegas before, but I mean, we ain't talking about the past. We talking about the present. We will keep it real Holyfield right now. Where we at? We in the present time. Mm-hmm. So don't start throwing up names randomly because you trying to protect your neck, because you out here whistleblowing. And I'm going to call it what it is.
Yeah, I feel that. But what I would say is people in power, not only Hollywood, but people in the government, and I guess over there where they got the, matriarchy or patriarchy, whatever setup they got up in their government.
Of course.
People that's in these powerful positions, these CEOs, these Fortune 500 leaders and stuff like that, they could be some freaky ass motherfuckers, yo.
Oh, I'm not saying. Listen, and I feel like Hollywood got read their rights about how they, all these people, men, and not so much the women, but the men are coming out about how they're being treated for certain roles, and if they're not doing X, Y, Z, I mean, that's embarrassing. I'm pretty sure that's embarrassing for a man, to even want to speak on something like that, Yeah. Your manhood is definitely in jeopardy when you're doing that. And I don't condone zero tolerance of any of this shit, period.
My opinion is that we heard a lot of shit about Diddy over the last 2 decades.
Right.
I'm leaning towards like the dude seems like he might be guilty of a lot of this shit, not saying all. I think the raids on his house was more so about getting evidence.
Evidence, right.
And maybe getting rid of said evidence.
Circumstantial information.
Because there may be some people on video or some people written down on a piece of paper in a certain drawer or a certain desk or a certain safe that we not wanting to get out to the public. I think they might have went in there, eradicated that. I think it's interesting that when Homeland Security went to go raid the place, the first place they went was the security system. And they took out his hard drive. And somebody said that hard drive might have got destroyed. That's just conjecture. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, I think it's some people that need to have their neck protected in this particular situation. And if Diddy got to take the fall, they like, I ain't going down for this motherfucker. I ain't going
down, of course. So, of course, it's all about who's expendable at this point.
Right. Who is expendable? I guess it could be him. It's gonna be interesting to watch going forward though. So we'll have to see what happens. What's the other thing that we saw that was the most interesting thing of the week, man?
The key
If you have a new
bridge.
bridge fear, if you have
The
a
key
fear of
bridge.
riding over bridges, Keish,
Hmm.
do you have a fear of riding over bridges? Because I
I
know
do
my wife
not,
does.
but I mean, probably, I gets down when it comes to that pedal to the metal out here. However, I'm trying to get across it,
Oh,
not
so,
get
so wait a
brought
minute.
down
Hold
from
on
it.
now. Hold on now. You saying you don't have a fear of bridges, but when you get on a bridge, you don't be wasting no time to get offset bridge.
No, of course not. Yeah, I mean, you just never know what can happen. Like, I mean, it's a bridge that went down here in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's
Oh
like,
shit.
I mean, and that was, I think, a year or two ago. I don't really remember the timeline, but I remember a bridge did go down here, and I'm like, that's, you could be sitting and just don't never know. I mean, of course, God willing, God bless, God bless those that were harmed and weren't found during this tragic situation. I'm not trying to make light of it at all. However, it's just like, when it comes down to it, you just never know when it's going to be your time when disaster strikes, and it's very unfortunate.
Yo, yo, it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking the exact same thing watching the video. Because I watched the video as it was happening, and
Right.
you can see the lights on the boat go out, and I'm like, oh shit, like okay, I already know what's going to happen, but this shit. I immediately turned my attention up to the cars going across on the
Going
bridge, and I'm
across.
like, oh, when is this shit going to hit? Versus, is there going to be a car stuck on the bridge as it goes? I'm like, yo, imagine you getting off work. You think you about to go home and see your family, chill out, watch some fucking basketball or something like that, and then next thing you know, the bridge just collapsed
Right, and you
and
made
you
plans,
perish.
and those they're not going to be fulfilled because of something that was out of your control. But that's a lot of things about life in general that we have no control over. What happens to us. We can only control what we allow in our lives. And what's hands on. That was unforeseen circumstance.
Yeah. I want to say shout out to the ship was making a mayday call as it was driving or sailing into the bridge, and they was able to actually stop a lot of the passenger cars from actually going on the bridge.
Right. Yeah, I read
But there
that. I
was
listened to it.
there were some construction workers that was still stuck on the bridge, and it was six of them. I think. I'm imagining all six of them people have perished. They
Well,
found two of the bodies, but the other four is still missing somewhere out there.
they said they only recovered two, and then they call off the search, and I'm like, yeah, but recover the bodies for the family. Give the family their sanity to at least be able to,
Yeah,
memorialize their people.
yeah,
Give them
yeah,
what you can give them as a resting. Don't just say, "Oh, we calling off the search." I mean, it.
yeah. Don't say that. Yeah, don't
Yeah,
say that.
right. Don't you put they put that out to the press a little too soon.
Yeah,
They
don't
could
say
have
that.
at least said, for right now, we're still searching. You know how they always try to clean up their bullshit that they put out, their propaganda to the world and to the news. However, those are still people and somebody's family that wasn't recovered.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Big prayers out to the people of Baltimore and people whose lives was lost, and
Most
anybody affected
definitely.
by it.
Send out my condolences.
Hey, man. Yeah, kiss your family, man. Call that person or show love to whoever person in your family or friend circle that you got beef with, because you never know, dude. You really, really never know. But as we transition to our topic, I don't know if it's too much of a hard turn, but yeah, man, as we talk about on the top of the podcast, the episode is going to be themed around the soft girl, or as Coach Kesh like to say, the soft
Love.
woman life, soft woman lifestyle, soft woman era. And we thought this was a very interesting topic to talk about. I know I did, especially because I know that who I record this podcast with. I know I record this podcast with a stone cold thuggerooski out here. I know how you got down in these streets of New Jersey. I know how you get down in them streets of Georgia. And you always been an interesting case study to me in the sense of not saying that I saw you and I saw a boy or anything like that, but let's just call it what it was.
I was a
You
tomboy.
you gave off very masculine attributes, very in your face, very would throw hands,
I
not
would.
afraid. And it's like you always came off as somebody that like, yo, if you gonna be rocking out with Keisha, like you can't be one of these BANs. You can't be no bitch ass nigga rocking out with Keisha. I've seen you transition a little bit into more of a softer woman here, Keisha. Do I got that right, or am I missing the boat somewhere? No pun intended.
No, you got it right. I mean, at the end of the day, for some people, maturity is a big factor, and age brings maturity for me. I can't speak for other folks, but I can speak for myself. A lot of people don't understand though, as a woman, I have sisters, but I had a younger brother. And for me, I had to be a role model. And, growing up in the time that we grew up in, it was always said, ain't no man gonna have no sass. So ain't nobody chasing no ass around here. So I made sure my brother was tough enough to walk these streets and he didn't have an issue. Because at the end of the day, he still came in, let me know if he was younger, of course, what type of time he was on, you know what I'm saying, or what time somebody else is on. And if anybody know me and we grew up together, I ain't do disrespect. I don't care who it came from. And at the end of the day, if you got an issue, look at him and look at you, at him being, maybe 9 or, 8 years old and you like a teenager, but you out there and y'all joking, y'all playing, and maybe you did get a little out of line and he came and hollered at me and everything. And I'm like, yo, like, okay, y'all was joking, but it ain't gonna be no bullying. It ain't gonna be no, I'm coming at you like he a grown dude or he a teenager. You gonna fall back, and that's still bottom line for me. Even with anybody I care about, let's, if it can be talked out, let's talk it out. Everything don't have to end in a boxing match or somebody trying to go do some crazy nonsense or gunfight or just something that's gonna cause harm.
Mm-hmm.
But I was who I needed to be when I needed to be that individual.
No, it's interesting that you say that last statement. You were who you needed to be in whatever situation that it called for you to be that in. Now, obviously, if you're a heterosexual woman out here and you dealing with a man, you come off with certain masculine attributes about yourself or masculine characteristics about you. Normally, historically, that would be a turnoff for a man. A traditional man, at least. They're looking for women who are more soft, more feminine, more nurturing, who know how to come into a situation and speak lovingly and just be non-confrontational in certain situations or whatever like that. And maybe to some extremes, knowing to shut the fuck up and be quiet when a man is talking. Now that's a whole nother thing, right? But yeah, so there is this balance of masculine and feminine energy between two people, and it always needs to be a healthy balance. And some people would say, well, if the woman is more masculine and the man is feminine, you are out of balance. But if it's the opposite, then you are in balance. It doesn't seem to be a lot of space left for like, well, I'm gonna leave room for the woman to be masculine and feminine and for the man to be masculine and feminine. Do you feel like there is femininity being an issue for women who maybe had an upbringing like yourself, or who feel like, yo, I gotta be hard because that's all I knew about surviving the world that I live in? You think they could go into a relationship and they could still thrive in that, or no?
I mean, I do, so I don't see it as a problem. It's just we all have roles. And when you're finally in a position where the feminine parts of being empathetic, being nurturing, having an intuition and being compassionate can be utilized and also respected, then there's never an issue because you know what you're dealing with. You don't, and then it's a difference between loving somebody unconditionally and with conditions. So if you giving me conditions, that means you don't love me for me. You love me for what you want me to be. And also that does not extend the invite that I'm trying to be male embodied. If a woman had to grow up a certain kind of way because her household was to a certain extent, or you helping raise siblings, and it's other underlying situations that have come about, It's a way of being vulnerable in a relationship. Don't misunderstand the vulnerability to everybody. Like I'm not as feminine as I need to be. I'm feminine when I need to be with my man. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm feminine when it comes down to my traits. Don't make it seem like because the way I talk doesn't constitute the fact that I'm still a woman and I have femininity inside. The look doesn't always have to portray what it is.
Yeah. So I wanna bring up a clip first and let's react to it. I kind of feel like this is more along the lines of a woman speaking from her opinion about what's the prerequisite for getting the femininity or the feminine side out of her. So let me start off by saying this. I had an interesting conversation with my wife this morning where she kind of hit me to some game that I didn't even think about in getting ready for this episode. She was saying, like, yo, this whole soft girl life shit or this soft life era started off as one thing and it kind of got hijacked and turned into something else. The whole thing kind of got started off as kind of like an aesthetic, self-care, taking care of your mental health and shit, running away, not running away, but removing stress out of your life, things that make you feel like you got to be like, all the time. If that means like, yo, I don't need to hold down 2 or 3 jobs and be a student as well, because it's causing me a lot of stress doing that. Making sure you go seek therapy, making sure that you're dressing in a way that's going to be high vibrational, making you feel sexy, getting your bedroom set up, light a candle, meditate, all this other good shit. And I was like, yeah, I didn't think about that. Somewhere along the lines that kind of got hijacked into this thing of I need a man or men being a part of the equation to take women out of their masculine element and put them in a more feminine element. And I got to say, I got a love-hate relationship with that whole ideology, right? Because I feel like in one ways I would understand somebody like yourself who had a certain type of upbringing, who had a certain type of survival mode that got them this far. You get what I mean? I got to the point where I'm at now, or my point of success, or my point of who I am and holding myself up because I went through certain things. And I love that shit. Love that shit. However, I do feel like a man's job is to provide just a space for you to be who you are at your core, who you are as your default. I don't think it's a man's job to come in and provide an atmosphere for you to be feminine. Cause not all women are feminine. Not all women is gonna be on that lovey-dovey shit, no matter what life you bring for them or what kind of leadership that you show. Hey babe, how was your day? Let me rub your back, da 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 da, cook you dinner, da 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 da. That shit all well and good, but like some women weren't raised like that. I kind of feel like having a feminine energy while a lot of it is innate and you just get that as being born a woman, a lot of those values are kind of like taught too as well, right? Having a mom, a healthy mother in the house when you was growing up. Also having a father in the house where you can see how a man is supposed to treat a woman. You can kind of see the interaction of like, oh, I see the give and take. I see the balance of masculine and feminine energy in the house. If she hasn't had any positive examples of that, or no good examples of that, you can't possibly expect her to bring that into a relationship. I don't give a fuck how many bags you buy her. I don't give a fuck if you put her in a situation where we can stay at home and take care of the kids and all this other shit like that. She's not going to be able to show you something that she's never seen before. And I hate the fact that there are women out here who have this idea like, well, I'm just waiting for a man to come around and be on some shit like take the lead, pay the bills, go
Well,
to
that's
work,
not all
let me
women's
stay at home,
concept.
let me go shopping, I'll take care of the kids, put me in my place. Oh my God, that's the fucking one I hate the most. Put you in your place. That's not my job, yo. My job ain't the fucking to tell you to shut the fuck up when you're talking too much. I don't got time for it. That shit all well
But
and cute early on in the early stages. But yo, years and years of that shit, I'm like, yo, now you're just becoming annoying.
But let me chime in for a second because I get where you're coming from. But femininity is inside of a woman, period. It's not about a man bringing it out of her. So I totally agree with you on that part. But when you're raised to be a certain way and you still haven't explored that side of yourself, because maybe you didn't get to be nurtured at home and you always had to be like, don't cry, shut the fuck up, be tough, hold it down, that stuff. that you feel like a boy should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to do this. You know, oh, you too sensitive. You doing this. You know, let's not misunderstand this to play on words when the terminology get into play. Because guess what? You got some men out here that tell women, oh, you sensitive, you this. Well, what am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be rock hard and then the only time I'm soft is when you touching me and we in bed?
Good point.
Let's not misunderstand this situation, because you got some people that don't understand what the gender roles are. And it's not, you know, or the respect level in a relationship, because you don't realize the dynamics of where you're going, you know, just like when we talked about love and lust, you know, and being vulnerable, you know, and I speak on being vulnerable because you can't be vulnerable with everybody, because they will use it as a weapon against you.
Yeah.
And we talked about that when a man tells a woman about his deep and the darkest stuff, and you spew venom on him, he don't never want to tell you nothing. So it works on both sides of the fence.
You know what? I think that, because I'm married to a woman who presents herself as somebody who's been through a lot of shit, and it's like, yo, I gotta guard myself. I gotta guard my emotions, because times when I've tried to be vulnerable in the past, it didn't quite work out for me and shit. I might have told a dude or told my parents or told a friend, like, yo, something is affecting me, and it was kind of like, man, get the fuck out of here, toughen up, da 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 da. So I've been having to work through that shit throughout the course of our relationship. So my wife, maybe I hope I ain't exposing you, but my wife is a naturally like defensive person when it comes to her emotions. So if it feels like a critique might come off as something to her as an attack, it's my job as her husband, as her man, to create the safe environment to say to her, like, yo, I'm not attacking you right now. I'm trying to offer you some constructive criticism or something that I see could be a flaw in our relationship. And here's how we can get together and figure out a plan to whereas we can do better with this shit going down in the future. But the moment that I slip up, the moment I say, yo, you being too sensitive, or like, yo, shut the fuck up, like you're annoying or something like that, I take all the things that you bought from your childhood and then I just dump it at your feet all again. And so like, see, that's why I can't trust you motherfuckers. Because every time I try to be emotional, you shut me down or some shit like that. So now I gotta go get the strap, and now we gotta rock out, or we gotta rock out. And it's like, it's my job as a man, and I feel like it's every man's job in a relationship with a woman to never put your woman in a position where she can't be vulnerable with you. Because now she's unable to be feminine if she can't do that, right?
Most definitely. And my thing about that is, to piggyback on what you said, being a woman, and you that's why I'm always focused on treat people how you want to be treated. Even though we ain't about to quote the Bible today, I'm drinking, but whatever. How many times people done went to church and came home and got the bottle, but at the end of the day,
Coach Kesh off that run, by the way.
You treat those You treat those the way you want to be treated. If even if, like, when it comes down, because I heard somebody say something about you want your man to be a reflection of you, but then what if he's exemplifying feminine energy? It doesn't matter. We all have feminine and masculine energy, and regardless of the fact, if we're in a loving and caring relationship, you should always feel like you could come to me. I'm supposed to, every backbone needs a spine. So if that's the case, when I lack, you pick up, and vice versa. It's not always that somebody's going to be strong all the time. I got times where I got to be strong by myself, hold my own household down. You know what I'm saying? I got to take care of what's over here. Because guess what? Ain't nobody coming to save you. So when that stigma comes up about, oh, you too masculine, you too this, but what about not waiting for a man to put you in the house because you wanted something for yourself? That was a goal you wanted to accomplish. I didn't take that away from you. That just showed that I wanted an asset in my life. So don't feel intimidated because a woman chose to be in her feminine but her masculine, because she wanted to have an asset, because if she didn't have anything, and I want everybody to do me a favor and kill all that what a woman brings to a table, because if she doesn't have anything, you looking at her like she a liability. So what about when she get a house? What about she got her own car? She got her own name on everything. That doesn't mean she's in her masculine. That means she is responsible.
Yeah.
So some people be out here talking about, oh, you want this and you want that, but you can't match me on this. Sometimes your woman may not be in the same tax bracket as you, and that shouldn't be a problem. But she has own, which means that she's taking care of business.
Yeah.
And a man and a woman, like I said, in loving with emotions, excuse me, you must feel everything. There should never be competition in your relationship.
Ever. Because the moment it's competition, everybody loses. Everybody lost.
Right.
Everybody loses. Whatever like that. Hey, new clip. Watch this. Let's get a reaction to this clip about the man's role in taking a woman out of her masculine energy. So my question to you would be, as a woman, what are some of the attributes that a man needs to exude starting tomorrow? If he's got a woman that is in her masculine energy, who maybe even in some ways guarded within the relationship, and he wants to get her into more of a safe, secure environment for her emotions, and physically and spiritually, and show the proper leadership, what's some of the things a man can start doing tonight?
Be patient. Practice patience, be consistent, communicate. Also, listen, that's the biggest thing, you know what I'm saying? But comprehend. You need to be able to comprehend what your woman is telling you. No, we're not asking nobody to read our minds and figure out, because the hardest part about us is like, when y'all ask us what we want to eat and we be like, listen,
I don't even got no energy for that right now.
Like, and y'all be like, look, just tell me what you want to eat. Damn. Like, and it's like, we don't do it on purpose. We be trying to brainstorm. Damn, where did we go last? Like, do he want the same thing we had? Maybe he tired of that. Like, if your mind run 1,000 miles a minute and you just trying to figure it out, you don't want to just shoot off the first thing that come out your mouth, though. You trying to think. And then some women that's considerate to the man, even though he's saying, what do you want? You're trying to be considerate to the both of y'all, even though that could probably find anything on a menu to eat. But what about that part of being considerate to your mate? That is like, I'm thinking about you too, babe. Like, I just want you to understand that I want to eat, but I want you to be comfortable too. I want us to vibe out. I want us to always feel like, not that fact that we in sync and we on the same page, but I get you.
Yeah. I would say as a married man, as I like to say, as a married man, one of the things I learned over the years is and I had to learn this shit through therapy. Let's be clear and shit. I encourage anybody listening to the show within earshot to go seek therapy. But one of the things that I learned in therapy was, when it comes to relationships, a lot of times you have to be the example for the thing you want to see before you actually see it. So
be the change you want to see.
You have to be the change that you want to see. Like, if you really want your girl to be more vulnerable with you, you got to step out on a limb, nigga, and be a little bit more vulnerable with her and shit. Even if that comes at the cost of being, quote unquote, man, you acting a little sensitive right now. You acting like a little ish right now. Sometimes you got to show them, like, yo, it's safe with me. That little thing that you feel insecure about, or that thing that you feel like you're going to say, but I might blow up back at you, it's okay to say that to me. And you got to give them example after example after example that it's cool. If you feel like a woman is not communicative enough, if you feel like her cooking ain't good enough, get in the kitchen with her, nigga.
How about y'all? Yeah, do things together.
We could take a cooking class. That'd be a great date. I mean, get together with a chef. They're going to teach us how to make whatever dinner we're going to make on Mondays or whatever like that. If you're dealing with a woman who maybe not the best communicator as far as expressing her emotions, because sometimes I feel like a woman could be totally transparent with her emotions, but something gets lost in the translation to actually putting the words together to say, like, yo, you hurt my feelings when you said that thing about me being fat, or that joke you made wasn't cool and shit. So, like, now I'm watching how you communicate, and it ain't just the shit that came out her mouth, dog. It's also her body language. Like, when you made that little joke about her, like, she walked out the room for like 5 or 10 minutes and came back quiet. What that mean, babe? You good? That's me extending the olive branch to you, saying, like, yo, I'm in tune with what's going on. The vibe has changed, and I want to get to the bottom of, like, how I just made you feel right now. You do that enough times, maybe she'll be more open to, like, you know what, babe? I really didn't like the fact that you spoke to me like that when we had the company over. Like, you could have told me to do that a different way, Or if you didn't like the dinner I made for you, you could have said something else other than like, yo, this shit salty as hell. Like you could have said something like more productive, like I enjoy this, but next time maybe we can do that. You got to be the example at all times when it comes to getting a woman out of her learned behavior into something new. And that takes a bold man sometimes, and it takes some aggravating nights when you're going to sleep sometimes, but yo, this should be well fucking worth it in the long run for sure. So that's the one advice I would give to men out there that's trying to get your wife into a more soft life era
And
is
compliment her,
be more complimentive too. Be more complimentary as well about, you know, things that she does well. Because a lot of women out here, they'll go doing shit and they'll be like, yo, I didn't get no credit. I'm not getting no credit, no acknowledgement, no praise or nothing like that. You got to get words of affirmation. Even if it ain't her love language, you got to let them know like, yo,
But
I
that's where
fucking
the
appreciate you.
conversations should have came in line when y'all first met. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you got to know your mate.
Yeah.
And you was trying to figure out things you liked about her besides the sex and what she looked like when she went on dates and when she put on that little dress and did that little thing you like. What else do you like about your woman though? You know, even if you know how they say you got deal breakers, things that you can live with and things that you can live without.
Yeah.
What about when you forget some shit and she reminds you? You know, what about you got to remember the little things count too. Everybody want to think about all the extravagant shit that go on in a relationship, the big ass gifts, and oh, he took me to Antigua, or he took me to Paris, or he did all of that extravagant stuff. But what about the little stuff? You know, what about when you what if you fell asleep on the couch and he threw a throw blanket on? You know, maybe he couldn't lift you up to take you to the bed, but he still made sure you was warm. You know, I think as a society we get away from what's maybe minute to what could be important to somebody else. Because I mean, we can all be selfish, but let's be selfless and think about the other party. You know, if it was all about us, you might as well stay single. You should have stayed alone. You should have just stayed dating. There was no point to get in a relationship with another person if you was gonna make it all about you. Now, don't get me wrong, we ain't talking about narcissists because you do got some narcissistic behavior with certain people or manipulators.
Narcissists out here. Narcos.
I'm just saying, and I'm just using that as an example. And that's why a lot of folks want you to be or get into more being emotionally intelligent so you can see the signs and see them early. You know, because sometimes a person can stay too long and don't even realize how much they were manipulated to be in a situation.
Perfect segue. You just mentioned something about emotional intelligence. I consider myself a very emotionally intelligent person and only pat myself on the back for that because I put in the work to do so. And that's knowing my emotions and putting in the work to understand my partner's emotion and where she shows up in our relationship. I've done that with all my partners, but especially being married, you got to take the shit to the next level. Emotional intelligence in a man is a tricky slope, though. It's very, very slippery because what you're doing is you are walking the tightrope of vulnerability. And if you go off one side, you can be considered a very, very intelligent man. But if you go off the other side, you catch your girl at the wrong time, or that emotional intelligence turns into you criticizing your girl, and she already in her masculine energy because she pissed off because she got to work a 12-hour shift or some shit and then go do Instacart and come back home, clean the crib and cook, da-da-da-da. She pissed the fuck off. You be emotionally intelligent, you might come off to her as a bitch that night. So drawing that fine line between being emotionally intelligent and being a feminine man in that soft life leads me to this clip here. It's the taking care of part for me. I'll be quite honest. I'm going to raise my hand and be 100% transparent right now, Keisha. And for our listeners out there, not to put people too far into my relationship business, but I would say unequivocally and unapologetically, I would say that when I decided to get married, a nigga thought he was ready, but I was not. To embody the role of husband the way I felt a husband should embody, being a leader of his family, being the etymology of the word husband, a house bander, somebody that is the string that holds this whole shit together. I wasn't in the position to be the leader that I am today then. Why? Because I had a lot of feminine energy characteristics in childhood traumas from a mother wound that I didn't address before I got married. So I'm showing up into a relationship with parts of myself that is still looking to take from a woman and shit. I'm not adding to, I'm looking to take. I'm looking to receive things rather than cultivating and tending to the Garden of Eden to be like, yo, look at all the fruit that I prepared from you so that you're nourished and shit like that. I came into my relationship very, very selfish. And I was wondering for years, why the fuck am I not getting the best out of my wife? Why the fuck is my wife still having these things about her that come off as like masculine? Why she talking like that? Why she got an attitude? Why she giving me the cold shoulder and shit like that? And I had to kind of take a look at myself and through therapy and be on some shit like, bro, she just had a whole situation where y'all was out and she had said something about you that was something that could have been corrective about your attitude or corrective about the way you addressed a certain situation. And you took the shit and flipped it and got all emotional about it.
Got emotional about it.
Now she don't even. Now she don't want to talk to you about shit. And you know how it gets deeper with a woman and shit. Damn, nigga, that's how you react when I give you constructive criticism. What makes you think that you can handle anything tough that come across our marriage for our family? You gonna get defensive about that and run and hide your tail and shit like that? And it was like, yeah, I've been being a bitch this whole time, son. It's like, damn, I really wasn't ready for this shit. That's why I encourage everybody before they get married or even get into a long-standing relationship with somebody. I encourage motherfuckers to seek counsel from men that's been like, yo, I've been down that road, young blood. You need to grow up and shit like that. Because one thing I heard on this podcast called Dear Future Wifey, shout out to Dear Future Wifey, great podcast. This dude came on the episode. He was saying something like what it means to be a husband or what it means to be a man in a relationship. And he was saying like, yo, if it ever feels fair, you're doing something wrong. You should always feel like in the deficit as a man when it comes to holding down responsibilities. There'll be times early on in my marriage, I'll be on shit like, why the fuck this shit ain't get done? Why the fuck I got to do this? Why I got to make an appointment for this? Like, no, motherfucker, that's your job. If you take all this shit off the table, look how good the house is. Look how clean this shit is. The food tastes better. Look at my son, he all happy and shit. It's like, damn, yo, why didn't I catch that shit earlier? You could probably speak to this too. Maybe you've dealt with feminine men or men have been on some real sensitive bitch ass nigga shit. How does that not put you in your feminine energy?
Well, I must just say this. I've always had my own. And moving forward from that, I was always raised like, if you don't do it, it won't get done. So instead of having to go back and forth about it, just make sure it's handled. And I think that's why a lot of men feel like women are in their masculine all the time, because we take care of business, and you should never slack on something, because if you rely on somebody else to do something, things come up and you can forget. And what if it was important? What if it's a bill? You know what I'm saying? Something XYZ. You feel me? Like something important. And you just like, it was your turn to do it. Okay, well, I forgot. But it was important. And then that's how little things turn into big things. You know what I'm saying? That's how things escalate so fast and y'all mad at each other, sleeping in different rooms and don't even know why. That's why sometimes a dude can be outside talking to a whole nother broad just because he want to vent, but he feel like he can't talk to his lady because he does not know how to communicate properly. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole other topic. However,
that's where it goes.
I'm just giving you little gems here. How does the initiation of a relationship and the trajectory change? Disagreements. Something that could have been avoided because there was supposed to be togetherness. We live in this household together. We share this bed together. We share everything together. Now, I don't know. I remember you put a poll up about how many women can tell their partner everything. I mean, you have to be an open book once you decide that you want to spend your life with somebody. I mean, there's some things that should probably be kept in the past. I'm not going to say that. And it's a lot of shit that people need to get out their system before they talk about they want to get married.
Wow.
You can't be doing the same thing you was doing. Like, okay, so what? We damn near 40. I ain't gonna lie. I'm almost 40. I'll be 39 in May. So With
You
that
tell
being
people that
said, you
shit.
can't
Why you
do
tell
the
people that?
same shit at
People know we the same
40.
age.
Right. I know, understandable, but I'm saying you can't be doing the same. Well, you can if you choose to, but you shouldn't be out here doing the same thing you was doing at 40. I mean, at 20, at 40 is all I'm saying.
No.
You gotta hit that mile marker when you say, yo, it's up from here. It gotta be up from here.
Facts.
Your relationships, your goals, your future goals, marriage, if you want to travel. Get you a passport. Don't stay in your own backyard and that's all you know. You got to get out here and see something different so you could expand your horizons. That's even with relationships.
Yeah. And make him a more well-rounded person where you know your parameters. Like you know what borders, you know what boundaries you have for yourself. You know the things that you have experienced that you say, you know what, I'm sensing that this relationship is going a certain type of way because I've been through this before. And so like I need to revert this shit back or get out of this whole situation. I think a lot of having experience before you settle down with your person is a big major flex. I want to ask you your opinion on what it's like actually finding a man who embodies certain characteristics that makes you feel like, yo, I could kind of be in a whole different type of sexy, grown. I got the motherfucking silk on and shit. I done made this dude a plate. By the time he get here, we'll have it warmed up for him. Like fully embracing your feminine and soft woman energy. I want you to tell me what's it like in your brain transitioning to accepting this man's leadership in some cases. After we listen to this clip right here, I want to get your opinion on that in this clip. Keisha, thoughts, man. What's that transition like when you find that guy that sets that bar?
It's just he has to always outdo himself. There's nobody that's going to outdo him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to take you places in your mind that you can only imagine. And when I say that is, he'll take you shopping and you ain't even thought about it. He just tell you to get dressed, let's go somewhere. Maybe you'll go visit him, but you packing shoes and dresses in your bag because you know he like to be sporadic and spontaneous. You don't know where y'all gonna go, but you just want to make sure you look good doing it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he caught you, and like you remember the movie The Bronx Tale? You ever watch that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Because they just did a real live clip of them, the actors in the movie getting in the car and she leaning over to open his door. That's how you know you and your soft life era, because I don't want to put it out there. I do that for mine. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I've graduated in my life, and sometimes you're gonna definitely go through some things to get where you need to be in life. And when you get there, you're gonna know for you though. Can't nobody else tell you when you met him what he does for you, how he treats you, because you're gonna always have disagreements. Ain't no relationship perfect. I don't give a damn mama, daddy, sister, brother, mother, father, whatever. Cousins, your best friend in the whole wide world, y'all gonna have disagreements. But it's how you get through those disagreements is gonna grow. Like I got in one of my books, I wrote a quote saying, what Loving with Emotions 2, Still Feeling Everything. It says, no one can tell you about an experience they haven't been through. Because everybody wants to equate their situation to your situation. They may have some similarities sometimes, but that does not make us neck and neck. We not in competition, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, we grew up in an era where heeding advice was important, because we may have dodged a couple bullets out here like, yo, now I'm done. I don't want that. I'm over it. Like, oh, I seen this before. We not be all right. However, it's wild when somebody love you and somebody's telling you they don't. And it's like on the outside looking in, it's like, are you happy for me? Or you're happy at the thought of me being happy because you're secretly bitter. So, I mean, that's why when the balance comes in, it's always about the scales. It's always about what you're willing to do and keeping others out of your situation.
Yeah.
Because somebody, it's this saying that they say, you shuffle the deck and you keep shuffling, you got a king, but you shuffle again, you may end up with a joker. So you better realize what you got before it's gone.
Or a deuce piece. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I love that, man. It's good to hear like the other side of the equation, because one thing I can say to dudes, man, is you got to embrace a lifestyle inside your relationship that may feel uncomfortable for you, may feel uncomfortable for a lot of us, being that a lot of us grew up in households that when daddy wasn't around, and if he was around, he damn sure wasn't treating mom well. So you didn't really get the necessary recipe for how to treat your lady and shit like that. But I would say the biggest ingredient outside of what you're saying from a woman's perspective would be, your level of service needs to be like A++ if you want to get the best out of your woman. You can't expect her to show up and be like everything that you desire in a woman as far as her femininity is concerned. You have to be like extra high service level. I imagine, I liken it to like going to like a 5-star resort or a 5-star hotel. Like when motherfuckers is like tending to your room like 24/7, like y'all did that. Y'all replaced the towels. I just took a shower and shit. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers, the room service is there, like right there. They cleaning your room. The drinks is stiff. Everybody greeting you with a smile. And you kind of like, yo, I'm on vacation for real.
Right.
Like, I'm really not even thinking about work. I don't want to leave this place. And it's sort of like, your woman in that type of headspace is probably going to be the best version of her. Is that going to be some level of unfairness? You got to work hard to make sure she's taken care of. Nigga, it may feel like that, but at the same time, look at the fruits of that labor. Look how she's taking care of your house. Look how she's speaking to you. Look how she's taking care of your body. Look how she's taking care of your mind. Look how she speak words of affirmation into you. Look at the thing that you gave her that she multiplied 4 times over. Look how that thing that you was having doubts about, that she kind of came and said, nah, babe, you got it. You got it. No, matter of fact, we got this. Because you got it within you. I know you can do it and shit like that. That little pat on your back be like, oh shit, that was a battery in my back. I need it. So all that shit is on the other side of service. So I would say, yo, if you want a woman to be her most feminine, soft woman era shit, and that's something that you desire, your level of service got to go up to like biblical level, Old Testament, man.
Right, man, that finds a wife finds a good thing. So if you want that good thing to stay a good thing,
right? And
what God do? It's constant work. A full-time job is the same as a marriage. It's still a job, but don't look at that as your hard job, because within your marriage you're supposed to have peace.
Yeah,
the work is each other's peace, though. A blessing. Be each other's peace. He ain't just your peace, and you not just his peace. Be each other's peace, because when it's outside, they don't give a damn about you. But when you go home, at least you got a home to go to, and you got love. And they say love conquers all. You may not believe it, because y'all into this social media life, and you worried about who's snapping pictures and what it look like, but you don't really get to see the reality of what people go.
Yeah.
Don't let social media raise you to believe that there's no good people out here. Marriage is unnecessary, because once you look around and you see everything you built and you want somebody to share with, it may be too late at that point, because you might be stuck in your ways where you're not willing to change. And that's just like, even an example, a man's going to change because he wants to, not because of you, not because you're telling him to change. He's going to change because he's ready to change, to be a better man for himself and for the family he wants to create.
Right. God gave Adam a garden to take care of. That's all you need to know. It's all about service and taking care of what you get, because it's a gift. Amen.
Bottom line.
It's a
question for you.
All right, shoot it.
How did you bring your wife to her soft woman era?
Still working on it. It's like, nah, but I mean, it's always a work in progress.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Because me as a man, I'm a work in progress. I get a lot of shit wrong, but I get more right than I get wrong now. 12 years in or whatever like that. But how do I put my wife in her soft girl era? I do it by, like I just said, it's about service. It's about taking so many questions that need answers off your plate and just saying, like, you know what? I could pick up a little bit of a responsibility around here that could be, divided between us. I could take all that on. Let me handle that shit. It'll free up you some time to kind of like be within yourself. I think a lot of times where my wife may not have time to just sit down and think about shit rather than being strung out between work, taking care of a baby, taking care of the house, taking care of dinner, taking care of her other son, managing relationships with her friends and family. It's sort of like, yo, when the hell do you get time to just decompress and be yourself? And be in a therapeutic mind state, be in a meditative mind state, figure out some things that's confusing you in your brain or getting your spirit right and shit like that. I feel like what I do is I try to take something off your plate. Sometimes that's financially. Sometimes that's just a back rub. Sometimes it's a foot rub. Sometimes it's turning the TV off and being like, yo, let's just fucking talk for a second. But I would say, like, now that I think about it, the biggest thing I would say is, like, I pray over my wife. I pray over my wife every day. That's the biggest flex I could give her, or the biggest
pray for her
act of love that I can give my wife and say, like, yo, you know what? I don't even know if she got anything going on right now that she would tell me that's bothering her. But Lord, if it is something that's bothering her, please let her lean into me so I can hold some of that weight with her.
3 strands of rope, baby. That's what
sure
it's
enough,
for.
yeah. It take 3. It's a 3-man thing.
I mean, but it takes time. Like,
it take 3.
And a lot of people got to understand when you put work into something, and just okay, bottom line, you want a garden, right? You're gonna turn that soil. You're gonna do what you gotta do. You're gonna water that plant, right? And watch it grow. It could be whatever you wanted to be, long as you put time into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Bottom line.
I would say that, confide in somebody.
But it's not. But you know what it is, though?
That shit kind of make me feel like empowered. Like, you know what? It's a call to action. I need to step up and be supportive right now. That's awesome feeling, like, to be needed that way. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something about that. Real big facts. Like, after my mom passed away, and I thought crying was a sign of weakness all day. Cause remember, I'm helping bring up my bro. So I'm like, nah, we don't cry. We big dog. We gonna get out there. We gonna try it again. We gonna do it again. We gonna stand up. We gonna fall down, right? When after I lost my mother, and I had my own dealings with that, and I went to therapy to work on me as a whole, from all my past, growing up, whatever. And my therapist said that the strongest thing you can do is cry, because you're releasing all that built up animosity, that tension, that anger.
Literally, yeah. It's in the tears. Yeah.
People be thinking that you weak when you really being strong, because you holding all of that up here. You gotta remember, you got your conscious and you got your subconscious, and a lot of your anxiety and your dismay lives in your subconscious. So when you can't sleep at night, when you feel you weight on your shoulders and you just walking around mad at the world, because you're holding on to something you should be letting go.
You know, it's a big fact. I don't even want to end this episode without mentioning this shit. Let's not get it fucked up and act like this whole soft life shit is just for women. It's for men too. Because when motherfuckers go out into the world and they got to deal with the police, they got to deal with their employer, they got to deal with ops, they got to deal with bills, they got to deal with people who are trying to get one over on you at all times and shit.
Right.
If I don't have the ability to come into my home, hang my hat up, hang my jacket up, kick off my shoes, and just lay on my woman's chest or lay on her lap and just be able to shit like, yo, I had a fucked up day, and I'm not provided that space to just vent right there, you're not allowing me to be soft either. But you know what happens to motherfuckers that got to be hard all the time? They become violent, or they become irritable.
Right.
They become
that's why I said about being
that are closed
vulnerable.
off.
So if we're not going to call men soft, we're going to say vulnerable. It's still a vulnerability.
Right.
It's still an understanding that both men and women have good days and they have bad days. But together, love conquers all. And respect my space for me to be comfortable enough to open up with you, because you're supposed to be my rib.
You my rib, girl. You know that, right? Now turn over.
Nah, for real
Let
though,
me give you
facts.
this.
Like, I mean, yeah, of course, we not back in 1980, 1960, 1990. But sometimes you still got to get back to the basics of loving on your mate and stop letting the outside world dictate your relationship and how things should be. Get that mental health. And I speak on that all the time, like, on my own channel, you know what I'm saying, on my IG, if you're not following me, please give me a follow. I ain't Coach Kesh for no reason. You definitely have to always work on you. Because them triggers, that PTSD, that trauma is real.
Real as shit. Hey, man, I think it's a good spot to lead the episode off, man. We had a great conversation. I feel like there was a lot of gems in there, a lot of jewels of information. If you're somebody out there that's a woman listening to the show, when you're looking to get into your soft life era, soft girl era, however you want to call it, fully embrace it, do your research on it, ask where you at in your life right now and what it would take for you to get to the life that you desire and what kind of mate would be the perfect person to be in your life.
And get specific about what you want.
Yeah.
Get real specific. Write it down. Manifestation is really real out here.
What you say?
Don't shortchange yourself on
real paper
what
and real
can
pencil.
Have. Say that again, bro.
A real paper and a real pencil. We gotta write it down.
Yeah, real paper and pencil. Not your notes on your iPhone or your Galaxy, your Android, whatever. Like, your Apple, your Android. Get in touch with you. Get back to when we had to figure it out without Google. Some people don't know that. Some people don't know that. Not the new generation, everything comes and goes, and it's, I remember my mom used to say this, and I'm pretty sure she got it from somebody else. It's a metaphor, it's an analogy. If it comes easy, it's not worth having. So
absolutely not. Yeah.
Let that sink in for you.
Yeah. Hey man, Kesh, good episode. We appreciate y'all sticking it out, and we look forward to seeing y'all next week. Make sure if you haven't catched up on any of our previous episodes, we got a whole backlog full of episodes for you to listen to, stemming back years at this point. But yeah, this was a good episode for me to actually talk to you about, because I've been wanting to get your opinion on this particular.
Of course you did,
right?
But of course,
this
always
awesome. I like it. I like it a lot.
I want y'all to do me a favor, because it's been becoming a thing now, to keep it classy, keep it clean, keep it neat, and keep it cute.
Keep it cute. Keep it cute, niggas. We're gonna let Summer Walker let us ride out to this shit. Let's get it.
I'll run that.